Today, it's Saturday, and I'm super excited for a personal project I'm going to work on today. On Saturdays, I like to do things that I enjoy but are not necessarily customer pieces. And today I'm going to work on my leopard project. Now, I'm not mounting the leopard yet, but this is going to be a video about how I set up the tree and the scene for it. Let me show you what I'm working with. This is a pre-made tree that I ordered from McKinsey. It is artificial. It is made of foam, but look how detailed that is. I didn't really feel like getting too wild and crazy and making a tree from scratch, not when this looks so great. And the leopard will go on this limb. There's the form. You can kind of imagine how that would be. So I'm just going to get it all set up today. But first, I need to get this tree set up and build the base for it. All right, this is what we're working with. This is how tall that this tree is when it's sitting on the ground. I'd like to mount this where the leopard on this limb goes right above this zebra pedestal. So I'm thinking we need to set this up about 2.5 feet off the ground so that we can display it like that. And I'm going to build like a rocky bottom for it, rocks and dirt, grasses, kind of make it look like a slope. Let's see what we can come up with. I want this base to fit well into this particular spot here. I like the way this pedestal base is right here, and I'm going to leave my bookshelf here. So I'm going to use some plastic to just roughly cut the shape that I would like for this. Doesn't have to be exact, but this kind of gives me a visual. Let's see. I want it kind of be an uneven, kind of oblong shape. Let's see how this looks. And we'll have it come out over here. And now this gives me the template for my shape that I can transpose onto the plywood that's going to build the bottom of the base. Here's what I've got so far. I'll cut out a plywood bottom for the main base of the scene. This will be the top part that I connect the tree to, and these 3 2-foot 4x4s. That's going to create the start of the hill. Oh yeah, this is a good start. I actually ended up cutting 6 more inches off the legs, so those are 18 inches tall, and this puts it up just about the perfect height above the zebra. If I want to gain a few more inches, I may put some casters on it at the end. I just don't want it to be too tall, but for now, that looks great. I also went ahead and set my form up there so I can kind of get a visual on how that looks. And now let's start to arrange the bottom. And I've got a lot of these rock panels like these. So I'm just going to kind of work forward and come up with something that looks good. All right, I've started to get this more pieced together, and I'm actually taking this bubble wrap, which came on the tree. It was how it came packaged, so I'm recycling this by filling in the cracks with this bubble wrap. Here's what we've got so far. Now, I've filled in the cracks with bubble wrap because not only is this rock expensive, but I don't necessarily want rock to be completely around it. These areas with the bubble wrap are going to be foam and dirt and grasses. So right now this just depicts the rough shape of the side of the heel I'm trying to achieve here. All right, now what I've got here is a mix of drywall mache and blow-in insulation. It creates this mache that I'm going to use to fill all these cracks and also the cut edges of the rock. And this will blend all these rock pieces into looking like one cohesive piece. I've tinted it with just a little bit of temper paints, so it already has a gray color to it. And then I'll take this sea sponge and go over top of it to create texture. Gives it a nice rock texture. This foam is still a little soft, so I can push it into the cracks there. This stuff sets up in about 20 minutes. So I've got a decent bit of working time. I'm going to just get all the main cracks filled first, and then I'll go back and texture it. Let's see. Some up in there. Now I'm mixing up some 2-part foam. I'm going to do small batches of this and apply it around the bottom as needed, and also up here on the rocks in some spots. I'm going to mix that really well and wait for it to set up. I'm going to be utilizing some brown tile grout here. I'm going to do some in these types of areas. Little undercuts, make it look like we've got some soil coming down through here. You'll see the purpose of this in a minute as it starts to set up. Mostly I'm just going to be taking this and applying this around the bottom. I'll kind of bridge the gap here, make this look good. It will take several cups of this. This is our front side. We want it to look the best. I'll work that up into there. Just cover that rough plywood. Now it's starting to really set up and become easy to take by the handful and kind of manipulate under here. Now I'm going to take the tile grout, dust it on here. This is going to make dirt-like areas. Let's go ahead and dust it onto all this. Trust the process. And as it sets up, I'm going to pat it in there and shape this. So this is looking really good. I've added some roots down here, and I'm just going to go along and blend this all in with different colors of this tile grout. Mostly tans, but I do also have a little bit of gray here, which adds some dimension to certain areas. I'm going to add some more roots and some grasses now. You can see the roots I've added here and some leaf litter and grasses. Now we're going to start adding tall grasses. It's pretty easy. Just poke a hole anywhere you want and apply the natural dry grass. I've done a lot of it up through here, several different types of grasses. Again, the leaf litter and dirt to blend this all in. All you got to do is put spray adhesive down and drop the leaf litter on. And this is what I've got so far as the rock face. Now you can see I've sprayed that sheet metal with some spray paint. Now we're going to apply some spray adhesive. This stuff never wants to spray, right? Let that set up for just a minute. So let me put some up here to kind of help blend this in. I want to roll it down over this curve. Got a pile of my nice dry leaf litter here. So now I'll let this set up for a minute. This is going to stick really nicely to the edge here, and I'll be able to blend this in. Look how nicely that came out. Now we can't see the casters from down low, and that blends right in with all that leaf litter. Now I'm just touching up my rocks just to show you the different colors we use. This is like a tan, so I'll apply that for tan highlights. Then I'll come back over it with either a black or a dark brown and just tone it down with that. Couple different tans, couple different browns and blacks. That's how I've got all the different colorations in my stones here. And then I'll use that tile grout to dust it all down and take the shiny look off of it. Some other things I did here, I got a grapevine from the woods and I wrapped it up through the tree, and that gave it a lot of character. Now I have this vine twisting through here. And back here, I got a branch from the woods, and I installed it right here. So this branch sprays out across here, and I attach these acacia leaves to it. If you look closely, I'm going to have to blend these in later, but I took the wires on the ends of the spray and drilled a small hole and installed those on the branch from just a couple feet away. Even right now, I think it's really convincing looking, but I'll blend that in more with some epoxy and some brown paint here in a little while. But that gives it a great pop of color, kind of gives it some greenery. And here we are with the final, pretty much finished scene. I am really happy with how this turned out. So let's get up on some of these details here. Got the rocks, all different colors, roots coming out here. I added a little tiny bit of moss here and there for just a pop of color. grasses, vines. Yep, I really like this piece. I have about maybe 7 or 8 hours total into it. The tree costs about $600 from McKinsey. The rest of the materials, maybe $80 to $100 in habitat rock, half a sheet of plywood, some spray adhesive and spray paints. But the rest of it was all natural materials I collected from my yard. Even though I don't live in Africa, I think it looks like a convincing African habitat.